There's this one police power in India that can take a totally simple, everyday interaction and, well, turn it into an arrest. And the crazy part is, most people have never even heard of it. So today, we're going to dive deep into Section 39 of the Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Sanhita. That's India's new criminal procedure code. Trust me, understanding this is really key to knowing your rights.
So let me just ask you this. Picture it. You're having a minor squabble in public. Nothing serious, right? Just a heated argument. Can a police officer actually arrest you for that, right there on the spot? You're probably thinking, no way. But the law? Well, it has a surprising little twist. And that twist is a very specific and pretty surprising power of arrest. It's this unique exception to a really fundamental rule of policing in India, and it's something I think every single citizen should know about. Okay, here it is, the heart of the matter, Section 39 of the BNSS. Now, what's absolutely crucial to get is that this section gives police the power to arrest you without a warrant for a minor offense. But, and this is a really big but, it can only happen if one very specific condition is met.
But before we get to the exception, we've got to understand the basic rule of the road. See, Indian law splits all offenses into two main categories, and honestly, this distinction is everything. So on one side, you've got your cognizable offenses. These are the serious ones, right? Think murder, major theft. For these, police can absolutely arrest someone without a warrant. But then on the other side, you have non-cognizable offenses. These are the more minor issues, like causing a public nuisance or getting into a small scuffle. For these, the police generally cannot just arrest you. They need a warrant from a magistrate.
So the most important point here is this. The default setting, the general rule for minor stuff, is that police need a judge's permission to make an arrest. Sounds simple enough, right? Well, not always. And this is precisely where Section 39 flips the script. It carves out this one single, very specific exception to that general rule we just talked about. It's a situation where the whole power dynamic just suddenly shifts. Now, you might be thinking this power is for punishing the minor offense, but it's not. The whole point of an arrest under Section 39 has one and only one goal: to figure out a person's real name and where they live. That's it. It's there to solve a basic policing problem. How do you make sure someone is held accountable if they can just lie about who they are and then vanish? So, how does this whole thing actually play out on the street? Let's break down the procedure step by step so it's all crystal clear. Okay, so it all starts with the trigger. First, you commit a minor offense, a non-cognizable one, right in front of a police officer. Then, when they ask for your name and address, you either refuse to give it or you lie. That is the exact moment they can arrest you. But what happens next is just as important. The second they confirm your real identity, they have to release you on a simple bond. And get this, if they can't figure out who you are within 24 hours, they can't just keep you locked up. They are required to take you to the nearest magistrate. All right, the legal stuff can be a little dry. Let's make this real. Let's walk through a practical example to see exactly how this works. Okay, picture this. An officer's on patrol and they see someone causing a bit of a disturbance. A classic non-cognizable offense. So the officer walks up to them and, following procedure, asks a very simple question to get their details, probably so they can issue a summons later on. And here it is. This is the critical moment. Instead of just giving their name, the person gets clever and gives a clearly fake name and address. This one act, this lie, is what pulls the trigger on the arrest power under Section 39. And that just makes the purpose so clear, doesn't it? The arrest isn't really for causing the nuisance in the first place. It's a direct result of refusing to be identified, which basically grinds the whole legal process to a halt. Now, this is really important. This power isn't unlimited. The law actually builds in some very specific safeguards to protect citizens from it being misused. This is the part you really, really need to remember. The most important protection you have is the clock. Police have a strict 24-hour limit from the moment of arrest. They have to either confirm your identity and let you go, or they have to bring you before a magistrate. They absolutely cannot hold you any longer just for this reason. So let's just quickly recap these key protections, because they're so important. First, the arrest is only to identify you. Second, once they know who you are, your release is mandatory. It's not optional. Third, you're released on a bond. You're not held in a cell. And finally, that 24-hour clock is non-negotiable. It's this whole framework that creates the crucial balance in the law. And this table here really sums it all up nicely.
You refuse to give your ID in a minor case, the outcome is an arrest to find out who you are. Simple. Your identity gets confirmed, you have to be released on a bond. Immediately. They can't confirm it in 24 hours. They have to take you to a magistrate. And notice that last point. If you're not a resident of India, you'll need an Indian resident to act as a surety for your bond. It's a really clear process, designed to make sure identification happens without someone being detained unfairly.
And, all of this brings us to the final bigger question. This law, it gives police a tool to make sure people can't just walk away from even minor offenses by hiding who they are. But it also puts these really strict limits on that power. So what do you think? Does Section 39 actually get that balance right? It's definitely something